Today on Animal Based in Your Face with Scott and Pam, we are cooking up a low-carb, gluten-free cloud bread loaf that's perfect for the carnivore, keto, low-carb, and animal-based diet. Now let's get cooking. For our recipe today, we're going to need 6 room temperature eggs, 3/4 cup of whey protein. We use the raw grass-fed whey from Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. You'll need a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and cream of tartar, a 1/2 teaspoon each of both of those. You will need 4 ounces of sour cream. We use the Daisy because it's the cleanest. You'll also need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Outside of your ingredients, you're going to need a baking pan. This is an 8x5. I actually have another one coming tomorrow, a 7x4. And if you use a 7x4 pan, you'll actually get a higher rise on your bread. But for today, we're going to use the one I have, which is the 8x5. You're going to need to separate your whites and your yolks. So I have an egg separator. It's by OXO. I'll put the link in our description. And you can either use a hand mixer with a bowl, but I'm going to be using my KitchenAid mixer today to fluff my egg whites. Let's get busy mixing our ingredients and making our cloud bread loaf today. The first thing we're going to do in making our loaf bread is to go ahead and separate our whites and our yolks with our eggs. So let's go ahead and do that. And then once you get your whites separated, you can go ahead and put them in your bowl or your stand mixer, whichever one that you're using. I have my eggs and my whites all separated, but I just wanted to share a quick tip real quick. I use this, like I said, OXO egg separator, and I absolutely love it. And a lot of times when you're doing your eggs, you'll get this right here where your whites sometimes, now that went ahead and fell, but your whites sometimes will just hang on forever. And you don't want to bust that yolk. So what I do is I take a pair of my kitchen scissors and I go right up underneath that yolk right there where it's hanging down, and I just cut it off. And I find that works great, and I'm not losing out on egg whites because I want the most whites I can get in my bowl. So try that trick for you if you have that same problem as me and you're using an egg separator. I would rather use the egg separator than doing it the old-fashioned way with using the eggshells and going back and forth. So what we're going to do next is, now that my yolks and my whites are all separated and I didn't bust any, my whites are totally clean, which you want. I'm going to try not to get any yolks in here at all. Now we're using pasture-raised eggs. You may be wondering, what in the world? Why is our eggs all different colors? We use pasture-raised where the chickens or hens or whatever can roam on open pastures and eat more bugs and grubs. So they're more nutritious and better for you if they have better things in them. Next, we're going to go ahead and pour our egg whites into our, if you're using a mixing bowl, that's great. Like I said, I'm using my KitchenAid stand mixer. Once you have your whites in your bowl, you're going to go ahead and take a 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar and sprinkle it across the top of your egg whites. I have my 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar. I'm just gonna put it in with my egg whites. If it sprinkles, great. If not, it's okay if it dumps. Next, we're gonna put our mixer on a medium and let this whisk for about 8 to 10 minutes or until you get super stiff peaks where your bowl will turn upside down and the egg whites will not fall out. Now, the cream of tartar is actually going to help your eggs get a really good rise and actually help hold them in place. Now, I have my KitchenAid mixer on about a 4. I'm going to let this go for a few minutes and I'm going to bump it up to a 6. And just let it keep mixing until the whites start to form. They'll get really stiff and they'll peak super high. And just let that run for about 8 to 10 minutes. Then I'll do the upside down bowl test. You can see they're already whipping up really, really nice. Getting foamy. Our egg whites are looking really good. They're almost done, but not quite. So while that is going, you're gonna go ahead and preheat your oven to 300 degrees. Mine's on a quick preheat, so it heats up really fast. While your whites finish whipping, we're gonna go ahead and put our 6 egg yolks in a bowl. And you want it to be a good size bowl because you're gonna have to put your egg whites in here in a few minutes. And then you're gonna take all of your ingredients that are left, your baking powder, your whey protein, your salt, and your sour cream. And you're gonna put all of this in the bowl with your egg yolks. You're gonna take a whisk and you're gonna whisk it up really good. Baking powder, salt, whey protein, and 4 ounces of our sour cream. Now this is going to be a little bit tough to whisk. You better have some muscle, but I like to use the metal. We also have like a nylon one, but I do prefer the metal whisk. And you're just going to use some arm muscle and just mix this until it's really well combined. You want to get it as smooth as possible. Once your egg whites get done, then we're going to put them in a little bit at a time and just fold them in. Next, you want to take your bread pan. Remember, I'm using an 8x5 today. You can use a 8x4, 7x4, and you just want to grease it really good. Now, you can use what you want. I'm going to use real butter, and I'm just going to grease it really well. No parchment paper is needed for this recipe. Just grease it really good and spread it all around. Next, we're going to fold in the egg whites. Okay, our mixture is really well combined and super smooth. Next, I want to show you the egg whites. They are done. They're super stiff. Not going to fall out. If you turn it upside down, it's not going anywhere. So that's exactly how you want your egg whites to be. Next, we're going to slowly, fold in our egg whites into our mixture. And we're going to do it in small amounts. So maybe 3 different scoops, and we'll just combine it really well. Be sure you're folding it and you're not stirring it. That's the important part. And you want to make sure that it's very well combined. If not, your bread will not turn out. I'm going to make a mess. That's all right though. All right, so we're just going to do like a big scoop, okay? Like that. Look how stiff those are. That's stiff peaked egg whites. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to do it like in a batch of 3 if possible. So just like this. Now I'm using one of my favorite wooden spoon sets. I'll put the link in the description to these. I absolutely love them. They're on Amazon, great quality. So what we're going to do is we're just slowly going to start folding it in. Not stirring it, but folding it. And you don't put in any more egg whites until you get this totally combined. I went ahead and mixed in a second batch of egg whites, and this is my 3rd. And just keep combining it. You can tell by looking at what I've already done, you don't see any big chunks of egg whites. That's the important part. Very well combined. After this, we'll be ready to pour it in our pan that we greased. Look at me trying to save them all. All right, we're gonna combine this last set of egg whites. Just keep folding it. Okay, we're ready to put it in our baking tin. This is super fluffy, as you can see. You can scoop it if you want. If you find a little bit in there that's not mixed, just fold it. Make sure it's all incorporated. It's gonna look like, oh my gosh, it's gonna overflow, but I promise you it's not. Unless, of course, you're using the wrong size pan, which is possible. When you're done getting it all in here, you can take a spoon and kind of shape the top off however you want. And just keep putting it in there. You might want to grab a spatula to get it all. I'm going to grab a spatula real quick. Okay, I scraped all my egg white mixture out of the bowl, and I'm just kind of filling my pan a little bit, and we're going to stick it in the oven. Remember, 300 degrees for 50 minutes or until your toothpick comes out clean in the center of the loaf. All right. This is going to rise, and it will deflate when cooling. We're going to talk about some steps to help keep that from deflating in a few minutes. Now I'm going to put a baking sheet underneath my pan just in case for emergencies of any spillovers, which I've never had that happen. Okay, we're going to put it in the oven. Make sure you put it on the middle rack. Now my baking sheet is not underneath my pan. It's down on the lower rack only for emergencies. Just put that right in there, and we'll check on it in just a little bit. 50 minutes, light golden brown, till you pull a toothpick out of the center and it's clean. It's been 50 minutes. Look at our bread. He's gonna zoom in on that and show you how golden it's turning. We're just gonna do the toothpick test right in the middle. All the way down as deep as you can go, and don't lose it. It's not quite clean, but pretty close. So we're gonna stick it in for just 5 more minutes and check it. All right, this should be the final toothpick test. It's been about an hour. It's funny because every oven cooks different, and last time I made this, it was about 55 minutes. So this one's actually 5 minutes less.
Just a little bit, but it's probably really close.
Yeah, I think it's probably good. So what we're gonna do is...
No, we probably need to let it go 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. All right. One final toothpick test. Perfect. It's been a little over an hour, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave our bread in the oven and close it, and then we're gonna turn the oven off. We're gonna leave it in there for 10 minutes. At 10 minutes, we're gonna crack our oven door open and stick a towel in it so it can slowly cool down. Okay, we turned our oven off 10 minutes ago, and the bread is in the oven. Now we're just going to open the oven, and we're gonna stick a towel just in the edge of it so it can slowly cool off, which will help with the bread deflating. It will keep it from deflating rather than just pulling it out of the oven and setting it on the counter. This is the best way. Our bread has completely cooled, so we're gonna take it out of the oven, take it over to the counter, put it on the cooling rack. Our bread is out of the pan. It removed super easy. This bread is perfect for sandwiches. You can do steak chicken. Some people do lunch meat. You can also do scrambled egg and bacon sandwiches. It's perfect for egg in a hole for breakfast also, and it would be wonderful for French toast. Next, you want to get a really good bread knife and you want to slice it. You should get 12 slices out of your loaf. You can store this in an airtight container in the refrigerator for a week. Then you can freeze it for up to 2 months in an airtight container with parchment paper in between. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Remember, it is an egg loaf. They are supposed to sink in some. Be sure to follow us on YouTube on Animal Based in Your Face or on Facebook, Animal Based in Your Face Tribe. Until next time.